This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry.
What's happening, Post Shifters? I wanted to talk about a concept, a theory that I've had for a little bit. I've been trying to articulate it into a better way, and I've traveled a bit in the last month, whether it be Lisbon, here in Singapore. I'm trying to articulate it to make it my point across the best I can. And it's one of these things, like there's always these articles about bartenders taking themselves too seriously. We're not curing cancer, we're not astronauts, blah, 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 blah. But I think the thing is that we're in this sort of bubble of like awesomeness. We're in this bubble where the articles we read on Facebook and the liquor.coms and the algorithm that pumps through feeds onto our social media really put us into this bubble of how fantastically big and awesome the cocktail culture scene is in everywhere all over the world. Cocktail culture is fantastic all over the world, but when we really look at the statistics of craft beer, wine bars, cocktail bars, that sort of thing, and look at saturation points, which I mean like saturation points of people who are actually intuitive and knowledgeable in the cocktail scene and drinking cocktails and Negronis, old fashioned, so on and so forth, I would hesitate to say most cities sit at about 10%. 10 to 15% tops. And like in a city of 7 million people, that's a good chunk of coin. Like Singapore, I don't think Singapore's hit a point of 10% saturation. I think Singapore is probably sitting at maybe 2. 10% is 500,000 people. There's definitely not 500,000 people here who understand and grasp the concept of solid craft cocktails. And I think that's a real big number to really look at. And I think as I get older and I've opened a lot of cocktail bars and my cocktail methodology's changed from when I opened Clive's to when I did Pags, so on and so forth, I think when you really truly understand the concept of your saturation points, you really get humbled really quickly because you work really hard. There's a lot of bartenders out there, like a ton of bartenders out there, like super knowledgeable, 60-hour week workloads, so on and so forth, and they put their heart and soul into it, which most of us do. We love our craft. We're very passionate people. But at the end of the day, you sort of have to think about it as like, at the end of the day, when you only got 40 seats in your bar and you're packing the place out with 160 covers on a night, 4 flips, so on and so forth, really look at what dent you're making in the culture as a whole. And if you want a really humbling experience, go to a liquor store and just walk around for an hour and watch what people buy. Truly watch people buy. Regardless of the craft beer bubble that we live in and experience and drink, you'll still see people drinking shitty macro lagers. It's still a massive thing. And regardless of the reports that come out that say, oh, macro beers dropped 2%, we're talking 2% of like a fucking billion dollar friggin' market. 2% is dilly squat to the craft beer market. Same thing with craft cocktails. Craft spirits, yeah, you might have a 3-point jump one year, but at the end of the day, it's a 3-point jump of a minuscule market. So if you want a really humbling experience as a bartender, go and actually experience what people drink at home and really go to a liquor store and check out what they drink. And you'll really quickly see that we have still got a lot of work to do, and dumbing down cocktails, or not necessarily dumbing down cocktails, but either going super elitist or super easy. We need to find this happy medium where we can really tap into a chunk of people that would never go to one of the high-end cocktail bars. Wonderful thing about Victoria, and I love back Cafe Mexico, when I took over Cafe Mexico, we just did really good cocktails, and it opened up a massive market of people that would never go to Veneto or Clive's or Jumbo. And those are the places that you just do quality cocktails and you open it up to a bigger market. And then that bigger market becomes the bigger market for the niche cocktail bars. And so tying this all off in a bow, examine your market, examine what people are really drinking, and then play that market up one step, teach new things. So the next step on that is I had a conversation with a couple of bartenders on Friday and Saturday night. And it's like the bartenders are up, knowledge levels up here, and the customer levels down here. So what you got to do is, as you train your bar team, or as you train your culture, your city culture, which we did very well in Victoria, for every one seminar you do from a brand ambassador for bartenders during the day, you do the same freaking seminar with the same brand ambassador for the general public at night. Because then you've got 30 people who have come to your bar, experienced the brand ambassador, experienced the products, and they come back to your bar to experience them again. And then the next brand ambassador that comes through, every session you do for bartenders, you do for the general public. It will pay you back tenfold, trust me. This is a big thing that I really want to pushing for all the big cities that are like just getting their cocktail culture in the last 5 years. It's about to start raining. It's going to come down hard. Look at it. Every seminar you do for the industry, every pop-up, everything, do it for the general public as well. Make the general public feel like they're part of the industry, and it will pay you back tenfold in loyalty, tenfold in dollars, and tenfold in brand. So that's my 2 cents on cocktail culture. I bounced around a little bit. I hope this doesn't piss off too many people, or I hope it does piss off a few people. But thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.